When we talk about success, happiness, and achievement, we often focus on skills, resources, or even luck. But there is one factor that outweighs them all, and that is mindset. Your mindset is everything. It is the lens through which you see the world, the compass that guides your actions, and the engine that drives your life forward. Without the right mindset, even the greatest opportunities can be wasted. But with it, even modest beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes. When we speak about success, happiness, and achievement, most people immediately think about external factors. They imagine wealth, education, connections, or even luck as the ultimate drivers of a successful life. But if I have learned anything in my journey and through observing the lives of remarkable individuals, it is this: success is not determined primarily by circumstances, resources, or even talent. It is determined by one thing above all else: mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you perceive the world. It shapes your experiences, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. The way you see challenges will determine how you respond to them, and how you respond is what creates the life you live. Think about it. Life is a series of challenges. From the moment we are born, we face difficulties, obstacles, and tests. Some are small and fleeting, while others shake the very foundation of our existence. Yet no two people react to these challenges in the same way. Consider two students who fail an important exam. One looks at the failure and believes it is proof of their inadequacy, a confirmation that they are not smart enough or capable enough. The other sees the same failure and treats it as information, a lesson that shows where improvement is possible, a guidepost for the next attempt. The first student walks away defeated, carrying the weight of self-doubt. The second walks away determined, ready to learn, to grow, and to try again. The only difference between them is not intelligence, preparation, or effort. It is perception. It is mindset. Mindset is what allows one person to look at a problem and see opportunity, while another looks at the same problem and sees a dead end. The truth is that challenges are neutral. They have no inherent meaning. The meaning comes from us. If you perceive a challenge as an obstacle, it becomes one. If you perceive it as an opportunity, it becomes a stepping stone. This is the power of mindset. Our perception is not a passive process. It is an active choice. Every day, in every moment, we are making choices about how to interpret our experiences. And these choices shape the quality of our lives more than almost anything else. History is full of examples of people whose mindset turned ordinary circumstances into extraordinary achievements. Thomas Edison, for instance, faced countless failures while inventing the electric light bulb. He could have looked at those failures as proof that the task was impossible. Instead, he famously said that he had not failed 1,000 times, but rather discovered 1,000 ways that did not work. His perception transformed repeated setbacks into learning opportunities. Without that mindset, the light bulb as we know it today might never have existed. Even in our daily lives, mindset determines how we experience the world. When someone cuts us off in traffic, we can choose to see it as an act of aggression and respond with anger, or we can choose to see it as a minor inconvenience and let it go. The event itself is neutral. Our perception assigns it meaning. Similarly, when we face criticism, some people take it personally, letting it erode their confidence. Others see it as guidance, a chance to refine their skills and improve. These choices in perception accumulate over time, shaping not only our emotions and reactions, but also the trajectory of our lives. Mindset also influences our resilience. Life will throw curveballs at everyone. Jobs may be lost, relationships may end, health challenges may arise. What separates those who overcome adversity from those who crumble is not the magnitude of the challenge, but the mindset they carry. Resilient individuals see challenges as tests of character, as opportunities to discover their inner strength. They do not ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What can I learn? How can I respond in a way that moves me forward?" Their perception of challenges fuels their determination rather than sapping their energy. It is important to realize that mindset is not fixed. It is not something you are born with, nor is it determined solely by your past. It is a skill, a habit, and a way of thinking that can be cultivated and strengthened over time. By consciously shaping how we perceive challenges, we can shape the outcomes of our lives. This starts with self-awareness. noticing how you interpret events and asking yourself whether your perception serves you or limits you. Often we unconsciously adopt limiting beliefs. I can't do this, I am not enough, or this will never work. These thoughts are not truths, they are interpretations. By recognizing this, we gain the power to shift our perspective. One practical way to shape perception is to reframe challenges. Reframing does not ignore reality or sugarcoat difficulties, it simply changes how we see them. For example, instead of thinking, "This project is too hard, I will never succeed," we might say, "This project is difficult, but it is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to stretch my abilities." The challenge itself remains, but the perception changes. And when perception changes, behavior changes. Confidence, effort, creativity, and persistence naturally increase when the mind interprets obstacles as opportunities rather than threats. Another critical aspect of mindset is the language we use. The words we choose in our thoughts and in our speech reinforce the lens through which we view the world. Saying "I can't" versus "I haven't yet" may seem small, but it has enormous psychological power. "I can't" closes the mind, limits possibilities, and shapes perception toward defeat. "I haven't yet" keeps the mind open, highlights growth potential, and transforms challenges into steps along a path. Language and perception are intertwined. By adjusting our words, we adjust our reality. Mindset also influences our relationships and interactions. When we approach people with a mindset of curiosity and possibility, we find solutions, common ground, and mutual understanding. When we approach them with a mindset of suspicion or fear, we encounter conflict and missed opportunities. The way we perceive others and interpret their actions shapes the quality of our personal and professional lives. A mindset of empathy, patience, and positivity enhances connections and opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. Now, imagine the possibilities if we all embraced this truth fully. What if we understood that every difficulty, every setback, and every challenge is not an enemy but a teacher? What if we trained our minds to see potential instead of problems, lessons instead of failures, and opportunities instead of obstacles? The world would not change overnight, but our experience of it would. Our actions, our achievements, and our impact would be dramatically different simply because we perceive the world differently. Mindset is the silent architect of our reality, quietly constructing the life we live from the foundation of our thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say to you, never underestimate the power of your mindset. Every challenge you face, no matter how daunting, carries within it the seeds of opportunity. Every setback, every failure, and every obstacle contains the potential for growth and progress. The way you perceive these moments, whether as insurmountable barriers or as stepping stones, will determine the trajectory of your life. Life will always test you, but your mind decides whether those tests become chains or wings. Your perception is the lens that colors your reality, and through it, you hold the power to shape your destiny. So, the next time you encounter a challenge, pause and ask yourself, how am I choosing to see this? Is this challenge defeating me, or is it teaching me, shaping me, and preparing me for something greater? By choosing perception consciously, by cultivating a mindset that seeks growth, opportunity, and learning, you unlock the true potential within yourself. Your mindset does not just influence your success, it determines it. It is the difference between a life defined by limitations and a life defined by possibilities. It is the difference between giving up and going further than you ever imagined. The greatest achievements in history, the most inspiring stories of human triumph, all share a common thread. Behind every victory, every innovation, every moment of greatness, there was a person who refused to be defeated by circumstance, who refused to be defined by challenges, and who chose to see possibility where others saw impossibility. That is the power of mindset. That is why I say to you today, with conviction and with hope, the way you perceive challenges shapes everything. It shapes your choices, your actions, and ultimately your life. Ladies and gentlemen, embrace your challenges. See them clearly, understand them deeply, and choose to interpret them as opportunities. Train your mind to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Shift your perspective, and you will shift your reality. Remember that your mindset is not just a part of you, it is the very engine that drives your journey. The challenges you face are inevitable, but the way you see them is your choice. Your perception is the lens through which your life is created, and by shaping it, you hold the power to shape your destiny. When we think about the people who succeed in life, we often assume that success comes from natural talent, education, or circumstance. We look at their achievements and think, they were born with it, or they had it easier than me. But the truth is far more profound and far more accessible to each of us than we often realize. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who remain stuck does not lie in intelligence, luck, or opportunity. It lies in mindset. Specifically, it lies in the distinction between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. How we view ourselves, our abilities, and our potential determines whether we flourish or falter, whether we reach extraordinary heights or settle for mediocrity. A fixed mindset is the belief that our abilities, intelligence, and talents are static, set in stone from birth. It whispers to us that we are either good at something or we are not, that failure is proof of inadequacy and that effort is useless if we are not naturally gifted. People with a fixed mindset avoid challenges, fear mistakes, and shy away from opportunities that may test their limits. They see setbacks as confirmation of their limitations, and they often stop trying before they even begin. A fixed mindset is quiet, but it is dangerous because it convinces us to accept our current abilities as permanent and unchangeable. It keeps potential locked away, buried under layers of self-doubt and fear. In contrast, a growth mindset is the belief that our abilities can be developed through dedication, learning, and perseverance. Those with a growth mindset embrace challenges, understanding that struggles are opportunities to improve. They view mistakes not as failures, but as lessons that guide them toward mastery. They are resilient in the face of setbacks and persist even when the path is difficult. A growth mindset does not mean denying weaknesses or difficulties. It means acknowledging them and believing in the power of effort and strategy to overcome them. People who cultivate a growth mindset understand that success is a journey, not a fixed destination, and that the capacity to improve is within their control. Consider the story of Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He was cut from his high school basketball team, yet he did not interpret this as a sign that he lacked talent or potential. Instead, he used it as motivation to work harder, to refine his skills, and to push himself beyond what he thought was possible. Michael Jordan did not succeed because he was naturally gifted. He succeeded because he believed he could grow. Every failure became fuel, every challenge an opportunity to improve. His mindset allowed him to transform setbacks into stepping stones, and that is the essence of a growth mindset. The truth is, many of us are unknowingly trapped in a fixed mindset. We limit ourselves with phrases like, "I'm not good at this," or "I'll never be able to do that." We avoid difficult tasks because we fear failure or embarrassment. We compare ourselves to others and feel discouraged when we do not measure up. This fixed way of thinking not only prevents us from reaching our potential, it also affects our happiness and satisfaction. We settle for comfort rather than growth, security rather than adventure, and familiarity rather than possibility. A growth mindset, on the other hand, frees us from these limitations. It allows us to see potential where we once saw obstacles. It encourages curiosity, experimentation, and perseverance. When we believe that we can improve, we are more likely to take risks, to try new things, and to embrace challenges. We are more willing to learn from criticism, to seek feedback, and to persist in the face of difficulty. In short, a growth mindset transforms our approach to life itself. It changes the way we think, the way we act, and the results we achieve. Research shows that mindset matters more than intelligence in predicting success. Studies in psychology and education consistently reveal that students and professionals who adopt a growth mindset outperform those who maintain a fixed mindset, even when the fixed mindset individuals have higher initial ability. This is because mindset shapes behavior. People who believe they can improve are more likely to practice deliberately, to persist when the going gets tough, and to view failure as an essential part of learning. People with a fixed mindset often avoid effort, give up easily, and fear failure so much that they never reach their full potential. The difference is not talent, it is mindset. Mindset also affects how we respond to feedback. Those with a fixed mindset tend to perceive feedback as criticism, a threat to their self-image. They may become defensive, discouraged, or resentful. Those with a growth mindset see feedback as a valuable tool, a roadmap for improvement. They understand that constructive criticism is not a judgment on their worth, but a guide to their growth. This openness to learning, even from failure, accelerates development, enhances skills, and leads to greater achievement over time. The impact of mindset extends far beyond personal achievement. It affects relationships, leadership, and influence. Leaders with a growth mindset inspire innovation, collaboration, and resilience within their teams. They encourage experimentation and learning from mistakes rather than punishing failure. They create cultures in which people feel empowered to take initiative, solve problems, and grow. A fixed mindset leader, by contrast, stifles creativity, discourages risk-taking, and fosters fear of failure. The beliefs we hold about ourselves ripple outward, influencing everyone around us. Mindset is contagious. When we cultivate a growth mindset, we uplift not only ourselves but also those with whom we interact. Shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is not instantaneous. It requires awareness, intention, and practice. The first step is to recognize your current beliefs. What thoughts hold you back? In what areas of life do you avoid challenges because you fear failure? Once you identify these limiting beliefs, you can begin to challenge them. Replace "I can't" with "I can learn." Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I can improve" with effort and practice. This simple shift in language can transform your perception and behavior over time. Another powerful strategy is to embrace effort as a positive force. In a fixed mindset, effort is often seen as a sign of inadequacy. If you have to work hard, you must not be talented. In a growth mindset, effort is the path to mastery. Hard work, practice, and persistence are celebrated, not shunned. Every hour spent learning, practicing, and improving compounds into growth, capability, and achievement. The most accomplished people in every field did not succeed by avoiding effort. They succeeded by embracing it. Failure, too, must be reframed. In a growth mindset, failure is not an endpoint, but a feedback loop. Each failure provides information, guidance, and an opportunity to adjust strategy. Every time we fall short, we have a choice. We can internalize defeat, or we can extract the lessons and rise stronger. The people who change the world are not those who never fail, they are those who never let failure define them. They see it as a natural part of the learning process, a stepping stone toward growth and excellence. Mindset also shapes the goals we set for ourselves. People with a fixed mindset often aim for safe, achievable goals to avoid failure. People with a growth mindset pursue challenging, aspirational goals because they believe in their capacity to grow. They focus on the process rather than just the outcome, understanding that the journey of improvement is itself valuable. By adopting a growth mindset, we open ourselves to bigger dreams, bolder risks, and greater achievements than we might have thought possible. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is clear. A fixed mind. ET limits us, constrains us, and keeps our potential locked away. A growth mindset liberates us, empowers us, and allows us to expand beyond our current abilities. It is not a matter of intelligence or talent, but of belief. The belief that we can learn, adapt, and grow through effort, persistence, and resilience. Each of us has the power to cultivate this mindset. Each of us can choose to see challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and effort as a path to mastery. By doing so, we unlock potential that is far greater than we may have ever imagined. The people who have transformed the world were not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They were those who believed in their ability to grow, who embraced learning, and who refused to be limited by a fixed perception of their potential. They understood that greatness is not given, it is developed. And this truth is available to each of us. It is within our grasp. It is a choice we make every single day, to view life as a series of limits or a series of opportunities to grow. So I urge you, ladies and gentlemen, to choose growth. Believe in your ability to improve, embrace challenges, celebrate effort, and learn from failure. Let go of the beliefs that hold you back, and cultivate the mindset that propels you forward. When you do, you will not only achieve more than you ever imagined, but you will also discover a deeper sense of purpose, resilience, and fulfillment. Your mindset is the key. A growth mindset turns obstacles into opportunities, limitations into lessons, and dreams into reality.